the technical regulatory challenges surrounding gas metering, and all of that conversations. The country is moving to the next stage itself. And I see CNG playing a critical role. Personally, I do. I see that coming. And of course, it is tied to the energy transition. And if we've all agreed that gas is a transition fuel, there's a lot we need to put into it, from infrastructure that needs to be in place to all that needs to happen to improve that sector. We need to. I don't know if you're aware that nearly 70% of what powers or what contributes to our power sector is gas. The reason why the costs are going up is gas. And the discourse will tell you all of this analysis there. But ladies and gentlemen, you won't hear from me on this. I would like to invite the panel to go into the conversation real quick so that we can learn from the experts and hear from them. Ladies and gentlemen, to coordinate this session and to moderate it, join me as I welcome Dr. Gbenga Owolabi, Commercial Manager, ANOH Gas Processing Company Limited. Please, a round of applause for him as he makes his way to the stage. Also to join this panel is the the Authority Chief Executive, who is ably represented here by Mrs. 𝐭𝐡𝐞 𝐍𝐢𝐠𝐞𝐫𝐢𝐚 from the NMDPRA. Please, a round of applause for her as she joins us on this panel. Also to join this panel is Professor Stephen Ogaji, General Manager, NDPHC. Is in our midst, please, a round of applause for him as he joins us for this panel conversation. Engineer Okpala Emmanuel, Group Head of Engineering and Operations, Accela Group. Please, a round of applause for him as he joins us on this panel to dive into this conversation. Engineer Chichi Emenike, Acting MD and Gas Assets Manager, 𝐭𝐡𝐞 𝐍𝐢𝐠𝐞𝐫𝐢𝐚, all right. Please, a round of applause for her as she joins us on this panel for this conversation. Engineer Oladapo Ojo, Managing Director, Daptech Engineering, is in our midst. Please, a round of applause for him. Where is he? Engineer Oladapo Ojo. I thought I saw him not long ago. All right, he will join us once he can make it. But at this juncture, ladies and gentlemen, permit me to yield the mic to the moderator as he kicks off the session for the next 1 hour. Please, you can all check your mics if you can turn it on with the center button. Is there green on it? There's green. Okay.
Hello?
All right.
Okay, great.
Fantastic.
Yeah, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My special regards to the minister's representative and the chief authority here and the audience in general. My name is Engineer Dr. Gbenga Owolabi, and I represent ANOH Gas as a commercial manager. And for clarity, ANOH Gas is 50-50% owned by Seplat and NNPC, and we are open for business. So this morning, I have with me the topic which we will be deep diving into, a topical issues that I believe everyone here will be interested in, and at the end, we are open to questions from the audience. So the topic is enhancing efficiency in natural gas value chain through accurate metering and data management in Nigeria. As we all know, in Nigeria, the natural gas value chain, which starts from upstream, midstream, up to downstream, that is production, transportation, or transmission and distribution, is critical to the nation's energy landscape and economic development. Accurate metering and effective data management are essential to minimize gas losses, ensure transparency, and improve operational efficiency. With Nigeria's push to expand its gas utilization and improve revenue generation, metering plays a vital role in ensuring accurate measurement of natural gas from production to distribution. This panel will explore the challenges and opportunities in enhancing metering accuracy and data management within Nigeria natural gas sector. Key topics include the importance of accurate measurements to avoid revenue losses, regulatory compliance, gas accounting, and the role of advanced data management tools in improving real-time monitoring and reporting. Industry experts that I have with me will share insights into how best to address the technical and regulatory challenges surrounding gas metering. We will be discussing successful case studies from Nigeria and beyond, and also explore innovations that can transform the sector. So I will start from Engineer Okpala Emmanuel, who is the Group Head of Engineering and Operations at Zella Group. He will be deep diving into gas distribution metering, accurate billing for revenue protections. Followed by Engineer Chichi Emenike, Acting MD and Gas Asset Management for Seconde, who will be talking on maximizing asset performance with accurate metering. So she will be followed by Engineer Oladapojo, the Managing Director, Daptem Engineering, and he will be discussing with us flare metering technology, providing solutions to improve compliance and reduce emission. So, sorry, I missed Professor Stephen Ogaji, the General Manager, NDPHC, who will also be discussing with us gas losses and quality measurement, minimizing losses to maximize profitability. So I will start from Mrs. Ngozi Nwako on regulatory oversight, ensuring compliance in measuring liquid component in gas. So over to you, Mrs. Ngozi.
Okay, so like I already said before, the NMDPRA has developed a regulation on petroleum measurements for midstream and downstream operation. And the objective of this regulation is to regulate measurements of natural gas, petroleum liquids, and their derivatives within the midstream and downstream space. And also to provide the basis for calculating the revenue that is accruing to the government, the revenue that is going to be accrued to the operators or other third parties that may be playing within the space, and also to provide fines and sanctions for non-compliance with the provisions of the regulation. So if you take a little deeper look down into the regulation, you will see that it provides a lot of, it attempts to standardize the practices within the space so that everybody playing within the midstream and downstream is expected to play by the rule, and everybody will be doing the same thing, and that will help us to achieve accurate measurements. Before you can even deploy your measurement system into the facility, it must be designed to standard that is approved by the authority. And then before you can even put it into use, your metering system will also be required to be tested, to be calibrated, to be inspected, and to also be verified based on approved standard before deployment into service. And once the metering system has been deployed into service, you will also be required to maintain testing and calibration protocols based on already established procedures. We have our standard operating procedures for petroleum measurements in the midstream and downstream space. We have our guidelines, we have our regulations. They are already standardized there. And it also requires that while you are operating your assets, that you don't just operate it and then you say you're measuring and you're not keeping information on the performance of your meter. No, you are expected to record the meter performance. And after you have recorded the meter performance, you're also not required to delete the meter records. It's an offense to delete records on your meters without authorization of the authority. It is also an offense to bypass the metering system. You cannot bypass it. So these are just a few of what is there. And then we are even the regulation also attempted to even delve into vessels that are coming from outside the country. We also have expectations, metering expectations of the vessels that will be on board, any vessel that is coming into the space. And then to go down, if you go to Schedule 3 of that regulation, or Schedule 2 and 3, you will see 3 precisely, you will see the non-compliances that we don't want you to find yourself in, and the penalties that can go for with the non-compliances. In fact, it can go as high, authority can go as high as even revoking your license or even canceling it where you have persistently been in non-compliance. So all these are done to ensure that we maintain accurate measurements in our processes.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Ngozi, and for the explanation and on regulatory oversight to ensure compliance in measuring liquid component in gas. I believe that the audience is they are interested in asking you 1 or 2 questions, which we will take at the end of the whole discussion. But I have a question for you, which I presume that it will interest the audience. So my question goes thus: how does inaccurate metering contribute to unaccounted for gas losses? And what is the financial impact of buyers and sellers in Nigeria?
So when you say there is an inaccurate metering, it could be that the metering system is not functioning very well. It could be that the metering system is not functioning well. It could also be that there are losses somewhere along the line. Maybe there are leakages through the valves, the joints that are not known. It could also be that the system is not functioning well. It could also mean that the operator has not complied with the requirements of the measurement regulation, which requires him to operate in a particular manner. Then, whatever is the reason for the inefficiency or inaccuracy in metering measurement, somebody is going to pay the price somehow. It's either you're going to have under-reporting or you're having over-reporting. And in gas value chain, for example, where we have the network code that is already in place, and we have multiple operators playing within the space. You have the supplier, the transporter, you have the injectors, and you also have the off-takers. So now you know that if the person that is injecting into the pipeline system has a faulty measurement system, what he's going to be injecting into the system is going to affect the person that will receive it, because he's injecting for an end user who is going to receive at the other end. So the end user obviously is going to receive less if what is pushed into the system has passed through 40 meters, and he will pay more for what he has received. And that will lead to legal issues. There will be losses, and you're going to pay more money. And the authority will come in, and if you have violated any of the provisions of the regulations, obviously you're going to be penalized. So it's going to affect your finances. It's going to affect your commercials. And it's also going to affect your reputations, because people will not want to do business with somebody that is known to not to deliver accurately. So it has a far-reaching effect. That's why we want everybody to be in compliance. And that code, the network code, it has set of rules on metering, and you must comply with it, because we don't want the injector to be cheated. We also don't want the end user, the person that is taken off from it, to be cheated. That's the essence of the whole thing.
Yeah, thank you very much, Ms. Ngozi. And just to add to what you just said, that is why we are here, and that is why we can see the importances of hydrocarbon accounting, so that when you inject, you have your meters to take the volume you have injected, and the other hand, you also have another meters to know what is being received. So that takes me to Professor Stephen Ogaji on the gas losses and quality measurement, minimizing losses to maximize profit. I want you to tell the audience on how your organization has reduced gas losses and improved quality measurement, particularly in relation to gas power plant performance. Focus on the current technological or operational challenges that still hinder progresses. and identify areas for improvement in services, technology, and regulatory frameworks. Over to you, sir.
Thank you very much. That's a very long one, but we'll take it. Good morning. Morning. Good morning, everyone.
Still morning.
And welcome to this session. He has asked me a specific question, but I think it would be good for me to give the audience, because it seems that we have very few electricity sector people here. So it's good for me to give a background as an opening remark. I don't know if that is okay, sir.
Yeah, go ahead.
Thank you very much. Like you said, my name is Stephen Ogaji. I work with a company called the Niger Delta Power Holding Company. NDPAC is owned by every Nigerian here seated or associated Nigerian, because it belongs to the 3 tiers of government: the federal, the state, and the council. So you are a stakeholder. The power sector in Nigeria today generates electricity from 2 key sources: hydro and gas. Hydro accounts for 80%, while hydro accounts for 20%, while thermals, or the gas, whether we are using gas turbines or we are using steam turbines, accounts for 80%. So you see, gas is critical. It is a heavily regulated industry. You can't do anything. We have a regulator called NEC, Nigeria Electricity Regulatory Commission. They have clear mandates and clear regulation to guide what you do. In our company, for instance, the Niger Delta Power Holding Company, every unit of revenue, 70% goes to gas, 30% to all the other operational costs, including salary. 70% gas. If the gas is inefficient by 1%, it's either somebody is not going to be paid salary, or we'll have to close up at some point. So you'll understand why this is very critical to us as users. So you understand why this is very, very important. You know, recently, there were a lot of information that came out on shrinkage gas, which is almost like 3%. For us, it's a big issue, because it means that out of that 30%, a percentage has to go to account for shrinkage, which I did not use to generate power. And so it's not passed through. We have raised that issue with the regulator, NEC. The authority has had discussions with NEC. It is being implemented today, but it's on the account of the generation company. It's not passed through. And for almost all the 80% thermal generation companies, it's a big hole in their revenue. A big hole in their revenue. And I'm sure you understand what I mean by that when you look at what accounts for gas in the revenue. Now, for us then, it becomes very critical that everything that happens around our metering is looked at from various levels. We have typical models that we can use to know what a turbine uses for any particular generation. We have multiple meters across the spectrum, from the GMS to the gas receiving station to the turbine. Each turbine that generates has a meter. So when you accumulate that, you should have an alignment. So the moment we spot a difference, we know that there's an issue. If there is time, if the moderator gives me time, I want to bring out 2 particular cases from 2 of our sites that we have had to shut down up until today because of this gas issue, because of measurement issue, because of quality issue. On the first day of the program, on the 8th, I did raise a point there that for me, the gas metering is important. The gas quality is also very critical. And somebody says, no, you can use any gas. And yes, a gas turbine can burn any gas. You can burn crude. But for you to burn any hydrocarbon outside gas, lean gas, it means you need to make modifications to your turbine system, because the turbine system is optimized to reduce emission and to burn that very, very carefully. Now, if you give me condensate and says it's part of the gas and you do not strip it, you give me spare gas, maybe because I don't have contract, and I put that into my turbine, what it does, in fact, is that, number one, it increases my costs of maintaining that particular machine. It increases my cost because my turbines, my burner system will not do the normal time between overhaul. I have to get it out because it's burning something that has a higher heat content than what I'm supposed to get, which is almost pure methane. Secondly, it means also that I'm spending more money. I'm getting gas from you, which has a higher content. Yes, you have gotten your MMBTU cost for the gas, but that gas is not useful to me. Because that gas goes in, I still take the small amount of energy I need to turn my turbines and generate electricity. The other one goes into the atmosphere. I cannot put a steam turbine there because that's not part of the business. And even if you put a steam turbine, the gas quantity still remains the same. You need to actually burn the gas again after it comes out from the turbine to do what they call combined generation. But I can't do that because the system does not allow for that. So you see the elements of losses that we have to encounter across. So if it gives me more time, I will talk to you about 2 sites that I have to close down because of metering issues and quality issues. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Professor Stephen. Very interesting. And because of our time, I won't be able to continue with you. But I have some questions for you anyway, which I believe the audience would like. The first one is, can you tell us the commercial risks of failing to comply with Nigerians' metering regulations? And at the same time, how can improved metering accuracy help Nigeria companies to reduce greenhouse gas emissions and enhance sustainability?
Thank you very much. Like I mentioned, for us, as power generation companies, metering is critical for our survival. If we miss even a percentage of gas measurements, in other ways, you use more gas than what you're supposed to use because you have not metered properly. It means your bottom line is almost going off.
That's correct.
You are not making money from that business, and you may eventually, and there'll be no light for anybody here. So it's very critical to us. That's why I said we have 3 stages of metering in our own situation. We have the GMS, which typically will come from the gas transporter. Then we have our GRS to recheck what he has metered so that we can compare. We have similar meter. If it's orifice, both of us are using orifice. We make sure we use the same technology. And then we have the turbine meters again to corroborate what has happened. And so for every power generation company, you cannot do without metering. You cannot do effective metering. You cannot do. Chromatographs are there to just give us the spec and all the other, but the metering is critical for us. I think it's very important for the gas.
So how can we improve metering accuracy to help Nigerian companies in order to reduce greenhouse?
I mean, for us, number one thing is that there must be a convincing need for that, because a lot of time, people in executive management may not understand the need for those kind of things. So you must have it data-driven. You must be able to convince somebody that, look, if you have these meters that have been well calibrated and operating properly, this is the kind of cost you are looking at in terms of your efficiencies and others that come out from your turbine. But if you do not have that, this is where you are going to be, and this is the cost implication to your generation and to your revenue. Now, what we had to do within our team, my team is here, the gas department, after we're able to show to them the implications of adequate and proper metering, we put in place a quarterly calibration. Quarterly calibration. NMDPRO is there, everyone is there. We have to go through the meters regularly to ensure that I am not cheating somebody and somebody is not cheating me, and we are getting the value for what we are paid for. So it's critical. But calibration, frequent calibration is critical.
Yeah, thank you, Prof. Summarily, I can deduce from what you just said now that good metering is really required because when you have a proper metering, system. You know what you are receiving. You know what you are utilizing and what is going to the environment. And if what is going to the environment is much more than what you expected, you can control that. So I will move on to the next panelist, Engineer Okpala Emmanuel, who is the Group Head of Engineering and Operation at Zenla Group. I want you to talk on gas distribution metering, accurate billing for revenue protection. I want you to share with the audience the progress your organization, Zenla, has made in improving gas distribution metering, ensuring accurate billing, and also focus on any challenges you are currently facing, whether in metering technology, customer management, or compliance with regulatory standards, and also discuss areas that need attention. Please, you have 3 minutes to do this because of other panelists.
3 minutes without this. Yeah, thank you. Can you hear me, please? Thank you, the moderator. Thank you, the audience. 3 minutes is too short, but I have to tell you that my organization is a responsible organization, and we normally say what you can measure, you can improve. And then we know that our lives depend on the accounting or the accountability of the molecules we receive. So it's either you account for the molecules properly or you lose, and then your business suffers. So we take metering accuracy. In fact, it's a sacrosanct in our business because we know that we need it to survive. And then as a matter of fact, in order to improve the operational efficiency and the metering accuracy, we are currently carrying out a phase transition into smart metering system or smart metering technology. We have rotary turbine meters in our system, but now we are transiting to Glorious meter, which is more accurate, which is more reliable, and then with lower maintenance costs as well. And then as well, we've automated our meter reading with the SCADA system so that we don't need to visit every point of metering to take readings. We can stay and remotely monitor the operations, the operational parameters, the flow rates, the pressure, the temperature. From a dashboard, you look at the various customer locations and you see everything. You take records, you take the readings. So it reduces inaccuracies or errors in metering. So that one is key. We use SCADA to monitor the operations. It will equally help you to know when there are leakages or somewhere along the line. If there are pressure drop, it will indicate. And then another thing is we recently onboarded or launched what we call customer portal. Customer portal, whereby our individual customers can log in and see what is happening with their system operationally. They can know the volume of gas that they're consuming, the pressure at that point. All these are real time. And then we want to take it a step further by using it to do both invoicing and payment. Additionally, currently we have started a prepared metering system as well, relying on the reliability and accuracy of the Glorious meter, which measures basically the mass flow. So there is no need to say you need to convert any volume, because with turbine meters, you need to do some conversion, which sometimes brings some issues along the line. But with this Glorious meter, we do, with this prepared metering system, you meter what you pay for. I mean, you pay for what you consume. And then additionally, it helps in the revenue collection. When you talk about billing, it helps in the revenue collection. Yep. And then for I don't want to use that word, for unscrupulous customers that are used to tamper with system, this system will not allow you to do that. Because we have challenges when we have flow conditions, low flow conditions, sometimes or most times, turbine meter don't capture it. So people who know this or who understand this limitation will manipulate it to consume gas they will not pay for. So with this prepared metering system, we capture every mass of gas entering into your system. Then the fourth aspect is about people involvement now. You need people for operational excellence. You need people to carry out proper leak detection where necessary. And then another key thing is the sizing of the meter. The sizing that will take care of the readability. Because if you don't size properly, you at various flow ranges, the meters may not read accurately. So that's why I say involvement of people. People need to know we need to incorporate this in our design. We need to carry out maintenance as and when due. We need to go and do some inspection of those meters. Apart from calibration or whatever, there's need to plan, optimize their maintenance plan so that you don't allow those things the facilities to fail before you start repairing. So I don't know, my 3 minutes.
I believe the audience is enjoying you, and I'm not really disappointed because I see you as the group head of engineering and operations, and I could see how you moved into the maintenance aspect of it. And at the same time, I believe you have your client here, and the client have heard you, what you have put in place in terms of prepaid metering system and the others. So let me quickly go into the questions for you. I know you are not an accountant or a finance expert, but I will ask you a question related to that because of the topic before you. So please, can you tell me the financial benefit of real-time metering data for customer billing accuracy in Nigeria gas sector? And at the same time, how does metering inefficiency affect operational cost? And what solution can help reduce these costs? I know you have mentioned some of them, but for the benefit of the audience, please, can you explain better?
As I told you, our business is like somebody keeping inventory. If you're a storekeeper or a businessman that runs a shop, it's their duty and responsibility to ensure that whatever thing you keep does not get missing. Whatever inventory you have, it's your duty and responsibility to provide security around it. That is key. So, one, accurate metering fosters even trust and good relationship with your customers and end users. When they see that what you are giving them is what they consumed, there's that confidence even to open the market for you. Whenever they're expanding their business, please come and connect our line, come and give us gas. That is one thing. And then, as I said before, you can't measure, you can't improve what you don't measure. It's through that measurement you know within the system where there are inefficiencies. If there are places you need to close out, and holes you need to plug, that's metering, and then whatever thing, we will expose those, and then it help you in the process optimization, basically. So, by and large, there is a lot of benefits in carrying out accurate metering and billing.
So please, can you tell us those benefits again?
One, I've talked about the confidence. If you are giving somebody, and then even with the regulators, because recently NMDPRA introduced bi-monthly reconciliation among the stakeholders, both the shippers, the transporters, and the consumers. So one, if your records are not always having issues, you're bound to have issues with the NNDPRA, isn't it? So one, the regulators will have confidence in you, your customers will have confidence in you, And you yourself, as a responsible organization, you are committed to either both improving your revenue, and then at the same time, we have a framework for emission monitoring. So that whatever thing you emit, be it methane or CO2, because it's another opportunity that is opened up to carbon trading, carbon credit opportunity. So if you account for those things properly, you'll be able to key into the carbon trading opportunity. That is another benefit. Thank you.
So thank you, Engineer Okpala Emmanuel, for that. I will move on to Engineer Mrs. 𝐭𝐡𝐞 𝐍𝐢𝐠𝐞𝐫𝐢𝐚, the Acting MD and Gas Asset Manager for 𝐁CONDE, to deep dive into the maximizing asset performance with accurate metering. We want you to highlight the step your organization, 𝐁CONDE, has taken to improve asset performance through better metering systems, and focus on any ongoing gaps in technology, personnel, or services that affect asset optimization, and discuss potential improvement needed to maximize operational efficiency and profitability. Over to you.
Thank you. Can you hear me? Is this loud enough? Good morning. Yeah. This is better? Yeah. Thank you. Good morning, everyone. I've done 25 years in the oil and gas industry, all right? And about half of that has been focused on gas. Today, I had an asset. We produce crude, we produce gas. Crude, we're doing averagely around 47,000 barrels. Gas, we've been pumping into the Alps since 2018. Now, what everyone has said here is very important. So I'm speaking today from a producer's perspective and some of the issues that we see. So if you must know, 𝐁CONDE owns 45% of OML 42. Our JV partners is NEPL. They own 55%. And that's an old shell asset, which we acquired about 13 years ago. Now, the thing which you bring into perspective here, which drills down all the way even to the gas business, is how you optimize your entire asset, whether it be integrity, optimization, availability for an old asset. Now, those conversations would be linked to something like what Professor Ogaji said, which is your responsibility as a business, someone who sits on business, to justify on a day-to-day to your board, to even yourself as a manager, where you want to deploy your funding to. So the truth about it is, for people like us, financing, attracting finance today to do E&P business isn't the easiest, all right? But then, of course, you want to justify and attract those finances, and then also justify that the finance is going to go back into that system and come back plus X, like I always say to whoever has given it to you. Now, the metering, sir, is very important because for all the economists we work, so my background is engineering, okay? As I went up the ladder, I've had to, today I'm purely a business person, and the ultimate sense of it is to make sure that every gap in between, we try to gap it, or close it rather, to ensure that whatever you are putting at the upstream, you're also getting downstream. I've spoken to your Seplat several times, which is your parent company. They've tried to buy gas from me too. And we've tried to look at how does this flow. Because you see, if you're a gas person, I can tell this gas story from anywhere. I sit on the Council of Nigerian Gas Association. I've done that for several years. I'm the VP Upstream for Women in Energy Network. Whatever you are putting, in fact, we work gas business backwards, which is from your GSAs. Whatever you are calculating today as the volumes, that is what justifies the investment, even before you begin to go and get an infrastructure, or even before you upgrade an infrastructure. Now, if any loss happens in between there, that is where you begin to have the problems. On OML 42, we have associated, we have non-associated gas. When I got in, one of the quick things I needed to do was to tidy up the old infrastructure I met on ground. And then there became the juggle between, do we do CapEx, which is outright, you know, bringing finance, or do we do OpEx, which is for the running of our day-to-day? As at the time in the business, there was more focus on producing the crude, because the people that brought the money, the stakeholders, are interested in getting their money out. But then, of course, there are primarily being a gas person, I brought up to speed the compressors that we met on ground there. Some of it would be including using the advanced kind of metering that we're seeing now. So AG, for instance, is associated gas. It comes from our crude oil production. Once it gets to us there, we need to know what we are getting out from that loop. Then the other loop, we have a pipeline that goes in. So we put it into the Alps. Before it gets into the Alps, we have another metering that must be every quarter looked into in the presence of the regulatory and even NGIC. So NGIC is the owner of the major, so whether you call it your fiscalization point or whether you call it your custody transfer point, that's the bane of the business. Because that is where the numbers and that is where the business, it's like somebody in the filling station tampering with the meter where you go to buy your petrol. Once they tamper with it, then the numbers are all messed up. So both the business owner and the guy that is buying the fuel. So some of those things is, I won't tell you it's Uhuru. We have 4 producing fields. It's still a struggle, but we are doing better than where we came from. Ultimately, the board is beginning to see, the value. We talk about gas today, which is big for us, especially for us as producers. It is key that we continue to push in those volumes. We have non-associated gas. And if you must know, averagely today, to drill a non-associated gas well in the heart of the Niger Delta where we operate is anywhere between, let's say, 25 to 30 million US dollars. And that is because gas wells are a bit different from your regular crude wells. You have what you call accessories and all those. Every single bit of that investment, when there are a few things, permit me to say, which are important. When you're trying to put these investments into a challenged economy, you need to be very critical about what you are using to do your metering. Because we supply, for instance, some of my buyers are sitting on this panel. They pay me in Naira, but drilling a well is in USD. Maintaining that well is in USD. Pumping money into that business is USD. But then I put it into the value chain. It turns to Naira. Guess how much I'm losing? Anywhere between 30 to 40. So there are so many incidents, antecedents in this whole thing where your metering is key, that you keep an eye on it. And a few things have been mentioned here, including reducing human interference. It's the same thing. So I used to work on an LDC. Like Axela, I see those things with customers and all that. You will even shock you have people in your own team with connive. So you need to keep your hands on it. Smart metering helps you at a distance. You can see what is happening real time. And then for planning and extrapolation, I use it for invoicing. I don't want all this unaccounted for gas, madam. NMDPRA, we know how we used to, you know the issue. We are talking of a million per million scoff. You people have started introducing MMBTU. That's another technicality that needs to be taken into cognizance. And when you use technology to reduce those arguments, then you have less issues when you come for reconciliations. We do reconciliations with them. I'm in a JV. We split our gas invoices. And on the LDC, we used to be, let's say, strategic partners to NGMC. You need to be sure in that business as it is, whoever has what percentage is accounted for properly, and it's only technology that can allow you to arrive at that.
Thank you, Engineer Chichi. Yeah, so thank you very much for that deep diving into the topic. And I can feel how you drill your NAG and AG wells with dollar, and when to sell, you sell in Naira. But I can tell you that this is part of the domestic obligations that you need to fulfill. So I have a question for you on how do regulatory challenges in Nigerian gas sector impact investment in metering technology, and what are the steps that Nigerian gas company can take to ensure they minimize operational downtime linked to metering failures, being an engineer?
Okay, thank you, sir. The regulatory is here, and I must say it's a better place from where we started from, all right? The rules are there. Back in the days when they were DPR, and still today, it was very clear on if you are to use a meter on your assets, there were parameters you were to abide by, okay? Those parameters are still there. And it's not far from what I've really said, sir. If you want to avoid getting yourself into a mix where your investment is getting lost. So it's not really about the regulatory. You even have things like the royalties that need to be calculated. How much are you giving back to government? How much are you putting back on your investors? What are your lenders getting? All those is only technology and proper hydrocarbon accounting through your metering that can help you with it. As we speak today, I was at Gas Tech, which was, last month or so, yeah? And I took out my time. Some of the guys, licensed here, and some of these fellows that are here, were also there in faraway Houston. On a day-to-day, technology is improving. What you see, at times, it is the justification to your board and to executive management, beyond my level, which may be the struggle. But data can never fail you, okay? So extrapolation, showing the losses that will be made. It's even like people convert, when you do the ground level gas economics, sometimes it's more expensive to switch to a gas generator, as capex. But when you show the long-term value erosion vis-a-vis the value gain, it's an easy conversation to run with. So on the regulatory, like I said, we stick with, what they want, and we engage them, and it's all about stakeholder management, try to get our partners too. I must say NEPL has been helping us, trying to do those upgrades, and then apportioning monies for what needs to get done.
Thank you very much, Engineer Chichi. For the audience, just to recap what has been said so far, we have heard from the producer of gas, we have heard from the off-taker, we have heard from the power generation company, and at the same time from the regulatory authority. So it's time for us to also hear from the service provider when it comes to metering, metering system. So I will call on Engineer Oladapo Ojo, who is the Managing Director of Daptem Engineering, to talk or to discuss on the flare metering technology, providing solutions to improve compliance and reduce emission. And in that regard, he will focus on the role of his company, the role that his company is playing in offering cutting-edge flare metering technologies to help operators in reducing emissions and meeting regulatory requirements. He will give us highlight on the specific technology his company has developed to improve metering accuracy and compliance, and discuss the challenges his client face in implementing these solutions, and at the same time share his success stories and best practices for overcoming implementation barriers in the field. Over to you, Engineer Oladapo.
Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, everyone. I'll be speaking from the angle of a service provider. We provide some of these services that some of the moderators have mentioned in terms of metering technology. Like one of the moderators said, there is a way you can ensure accurate metering, and that is using technology. And for us as a company, what we do in our company is to ensure we know the regulations, like the NUPRC regulations and other international regulations. And based on that, we deploy technology to service most of these operators, the like of Total, Shell, Chevron, Ajib. So what we do in our company is to ensure that, one, our personnel are equipped in terms of training, and also we know the regulations, and then we work with our OEM to do some kind of R&D in case some specifications are not being met. And then we ensure that there is accurate billing, accurate metering. And then what the regulations has helped us to do in terms of this is there is an NUPRC rule in terms of when it comes to physical metering. Flare metering for example, has been classified as a physical metering activity. So thereby, we have our service engineers go to the field 4 times in a year to ensure that these meters are accurate in terms of calibration, and also in our company, whatever equipment that we are using, whatever devices we are using also can be traced back to in terms of accurate metering as well. So for us as a service provider, we are looking at the devices that we use to do this measurement. We ensure that these devices are in line with the guideline in terms of accuracy. We ensure that these devices also can be traced to international standard as well. And then we ensure compliance. So on our own side, what we've done over the years is to ensure that all of them have at least, always accurate metering in terms of whatever meter they are providing. Whatever meter they have in their facilities.
Thank you, Engineer Oladapo, for the insightful view on that. Please, I have this for you. Please, could you tell us how Nigerian companies could integrate metering solutions to optimize gas supply contract and improve customer satisfaction? And at the same time, what are the opportunities for Nigerian gas operators to leverage accurate metering as a competitive advantage in the global market?
Thank you very much, Doctor. For me, I think the answer to this still lies on technology. You can't rule out technology when you're talking about accuracy of metering, of measurements, of hydrocarbon accounting. So it boils down to how your technology is accurate, the technology you're deploying. Technology is the answer to that question. So that's why on our side, we intend to look out for technology that works, that is accurate, that meets NUPRC's requirements and also international standard requirements as well. And then also in the area of cost saving, we look out for how we can help end users to save costs. So in terms of the kind of technology that we deploy, let's say you want to use an inline versus a clamp-on meter.